It's your main man Mega with another episode of the Vintage House Show, the premier show for the culture, the business, the history of all that we love. That is house music. House is a feeling, and more than ever, 2024, it's been an incredible feeling and an array of experiences. I've been honored to be a part of them. The Vintage House Show has been intricately involved. Hope you've been down to Navy Pier to check out Chicago, home of house, an incredible timeline reflecting the history from 1972 to current day. That is a must see. But of course, it's Wednesday night and time for another episode of the Vintage House Show where we interview and collect the first person narratives of some of the genre's pioneers, legends, current contributors, and those who love house and recognize that it is a feeling. If you aren't aware of who tonight's guest is, there is a connection that is an important one to a legend of house music, of DJing, but he in his own right is also contributing and laying down some monstrous tracks and dance experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vintage House Show and welcome to our guest, Mr. Bill Hardy. How are you, Bill?
I'm good. Thanks. Thank you.
Excellent.
How about yourself?
I'm great. Welcome to the Vintage House Show. It's good to have you.
Well, thanks for having me.
How has your summer been?
It's been great. It's been great.
Tell me, you gotta elaborate on the Vintage House Show. Talk to us about what's made it great. Of course, we know that we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of house music. Right. Some will debate that, but
the term?
Well, 40 years versus 50 years versus 45.
And the term.
It is since the first house music releases were thrown down in 1984.
Oh, okay.
That's one way of describing it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I haven't done really too much this summer. Actually, I just drove this way last weekend. I went to Ravinia to see the Roots. So.
I was there too.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
I was really there to see my peeps, the Diggable Planets, but of course the Roots too, and Arrested
Development. Did you think Common was gonna show?
I did. I thought.
I just knew he would. Yeah. He was here.
He was in town for the DNC.
The DNC. I'm sorry. Yeah. Exactly.
And so
they made everybody wait till the last second, thinking he was gonna come.
Common, where are you, brother? We know.
Come on out. You got a whole album with these guys, and
he was part of a collective called I think the Spoken Tongues or something along those lines. It escapes me at the moment.
I want to see his second or third album. The Roots was
instrumental in producing and backing him as the live band, along with De La Soul. They had a whole dope crew. And so, the expectation he was going to pop in.
Right.
We missed that. Just like, I guess, at the DNC, they thought Beyonce was going to pop in.
I want to say, I think
he did perform
there, but it was rather early, though.
Earlier in the early days of that convention. And so, Chicago's been on fire. In a positive way.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, Chicago is fire.
It is always fire. You can say that again.
Right, Chicago is fire.
Yeah, I like that.
No matter where you at.
From the great Chicago fire to the everyday fire.
That's a good analogy.
It is. It's a hot town, and we love it. And of course, it is the birthplace of the global genre of house music. So we've got you
and Mr. Ron Hardy.
So we got you. We got you in studio.
The Godfather.
to talk about that, but I want to start with your perspective. You know, House is a Feeling is one of the ways we talk about the genre, because it's that special. But what is house music to you, Bill Hardy?
Mm. That's I don't know if you heard me say like the term. I haven't really been a big fan of the term, just house music.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think I kind of like heard it like introduced on KKC, listening to them one day,
Okay. Yeah.
and to that still to this day, I'm like,
It hasn't sunk in,
house,
huh?
right? You know, I don't know. I guess it was like just a party. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things involved, like I guess with that, as far as like promoters and fashion. You would think I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the term.
So that's an interesting perspective, and of course, here on Vintage House, um, we look for every perspective that contributes to the movement, the business, the culture, and of course, the music. So, talk to us about what the embodiment is then of this movement to you. Do you put a term to it, or do you just let it be what it is?
I just let it be what it is. Actually, I mean, it's I guess everyone should have like their own perspective, and feeling towards the term house,
Yeah.
but the energy is definitely coming from the music. So
Well, it's danceable music, all right, on one hand. It's spiritual music on another hand. Um, it's uplifting music,
definitely,
right? Uh, you got to put some attributes on it for me. Put some respect on the movement, if you will.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm here for. I
Yeah.
mean, that would be Ron Hardy,
All right.
because he definitely. I guess I mean there was a beginning. I
Yes.
mean, but if you talk about fire,
Yes.
I guess he the one that lit it.
Well, I like that
You know,
a lot. It's a powerful perspective. Of course, one that um, there will be a variety of perspectives,
right,
right, around that.
right.
We've been listening to a Ron Hardy mix for those listening to us on the WNUR.org stream. It was Ron Hardy Music Box 1985. Of course, the frenetic energy that has been Ron Hardy and his legacy was reflected well in that mix. We're here
Definitely.
with Bill Hardy. Your relationship to Ron is
He's my uncle.
he is your uncle.
He's my uncle.
And so talk to us about what it was like to be around your uncle in the time period in which you were coming up and he was still with us.
Well, I'm only 53, so I didn't really like just hang out with him, But
Yeah.
I mean, he attended family, family functions, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and whatnot,
Yeah.
And I mean, Ronnie, Ronnie was Ronnie was original, and Ronnie ran away from home. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but Ronnie ran away from home, at an early age.
And lived on his own.
Yeah, no. Actually, he lived with this lady named Maxine.
Okay.
Actually, and it was funny. A few weeks ago, about a month ago, when I was at the Renaissance,
Yes. In
I
Bronzeville.
met this lady. I can't even think of her name right now. I really hate that, But she was like, I knew Ronnie. A lot of people say that, but they just just said, oh, I was this and I was that.
Yeah, they don't have the receipts to go along
But she
with
took
it.
me right there. She was like, yeah, Maxine was Ronnie's godmother, and I was like, wow, and it almost made me cry. But that's very tough for me to do is cry, but it was very sentimental, you know, that she
Yeah.
was the only one to really just
Take
like
him
take me
in and-
back to, you know, I actually I know Maxine, you know, well I knew her, you know, I don't know if she's still alive, but I knew of her,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, so it's just like it just hit me when she said that because no one ever really just
Talks about
right and put it, you know, put a place, you know,
in the
and
history
she
and
did
life.
that. I was right. I was like, I was truly amazed, and it hit me, you know.
So with that, one of your parents was
Ronnie's brother. Yeah, my father.
Your father.
Yes.
And your father with us
No,
now?
he passed away in '81.
In 81.
Yeah. And that's when Ronnie came home from LA.
Okay.
And he came to the funeral, and he also helped my grandmother move to Springfield.
Wow.
And he stayed from there.
So he was a family oriented person, but felt the need to go out on his own. He moved to LA.
I wouldn't say too family oriented, but
too much so.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say he was. I mean, no one would run away if, you know, if it was tight at home.
But when it came time to be there, he was there.
I mean, I don't know the absolute truth, you know, as to why he ran away.
Yeah.
But it probably had like some big brother bullying in it.
Okay.
You know, my mom told me that, and you know, back then, you know, in the sexuality part of it,
yeah,
probably had played a big part in it.
Well, what's interesting is that we all have family dynamics, right? And there are a lot of interesting stories about people, their sexuality, their drive and desire for independence or lack of acceptance has also seemed to fuel their creativity. And that story is a common theme, I think, woven throughout house music pioneers.
Yeah, because not even just house music, but you know, a lot of great people, you know, like Richard Pryor, you know, the way he grew up, you know, something, you know, and his comedy was about, you know, him coming up in that atmosphere that he came up in.
Yeah.
So I would say that. I mean, but just I would agree with you, you know, because Ronnie, he was playing records, you know, he wasn't spinning them, but he was playing them.
Yeah.
You know, at an early age, you know.
Okay.
Actually, my mom, she met Ronnie and my father, and you know, Ronnie was kind of like he had to tag along, you know, with the big brother. They met at Starlight Bowling Alley
on,
you know, on
Cottage Grove.
Yes,
yeah,
sir,
87 Cottage.
Right. You know, and my mom, she stayed south of there, and Ronnie stayed a little east.
All right.
He went to Sabarbro.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you know, like off Ingleside,
84th and Ingleside.
Right.
I grew up in Chatham Village, which was on the other side of Cottage Grove.
Yeah, that's where his father moved to.
Okay.
Yeah, after you know some time in life.
Yeah,
he had two different places in the Chatham Village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. The dots connect in an interesting way, and so when he came back, you said it was about 1981.
Yeah.
And 81 had a lot of things happening in 81. I remember the Pope coming to Chicago, Grant Park.
I don't remember none of that. I was playing Little League.
You were
in
about
1981.
7.
I was 10.
10. Okay, 10. Yeah, my math.
I'm 53 years old.
My math ain't mathing tonight, y'all. But, you know, it's always a little late when we do Vintage House Show. But there was an important phenomenon happening with regard to the movement, we'll call it, the dance music movement, the party scene in Chicago, the club scene, certainly the Music Box and Warehouse in 1981 plus, right? The early 80s, we'll call it, was happening. 79, the Warehouse, about 82, the Music Box. To your recollection,
what you asking me for?
No,
I just told you.
You're my guest. I'm trying to get some nuggets and gems.
I was playing Little League. I didn't know anything about the Warehouse.
That's fair.
I attended the Music Box when I was 13. I was in 7th grade.
Okay, what year-ish do you think that was?
80. No, was it? Let me see.
82, 83?
No. 11.
So you
13.
graduated from?
I would say 14. I was in 7th grade. It was somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Okay.
But I had I'll just tell you how my party experience went. I had I was trying forever to go to Mendel. I was kind of scared. My auntie would always try to drag me there.
Yeah.
And at the last minute, I would bail out like I ain't going. So one day I decided to go with her. And I wasn't even in high school then. And I went, and then I went again. And I seen a couple of guys in the building that I grew up in. So I was just like, I'll just go come to Mendel with y'all.
Yeah. And when you say go to Mendel, you're not talking about attending school. You're talking about going to the bi-level disco.
So after about 3 times at Mendel, it was like the Pleasure Dome. We did a few of those country club parties. And
still as a guest, you were going as a dancer, somebody hanging at the parties.
My way in, and sure, I didn't even have identity then. I was, like I said, this was like after Little League, and
you were still coming of age.
Right. I'm trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
And what did we do? We did, like I said, the Pleasure Dome, and it was funny because they didn't even believe Ronnie was my uncle. I just came out the blue because I was quiet.
You weren't
right, and they was talking about the Music Box.
Yeah,
and they were pluggers and whatnot. I was like, that's my uncle right there. They was like, you lying. And one of my guys, Dwight, he was like, I believe him. And we eventually made our way to the Music Box, and I used my boy Dwight ID to get in. And I mean, party, this, I've never been in such a place.
Okay. Talk to us about
things that I saw
the Music
going
Box.
going on in there. And I was 13, but my main objective was to get a hold of Ronnie.
Yep, let your uncle know you were in the building.
And so the party is wow. And I was just standing there, just like staring at him. It could have been a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of like, and I'm like, yeah, it's me, and he was like, do you want to come around? And I was like, and I'm, he was just beckoning me like, and I'm like, yeah. So I go around there and
to get to the DJ booth.
Right. And I can't remember the white guy's name that hung out in the booth, but he opens the door and he like, get your ass out of here,
Because you weren't supposed to be there.
Right. Because I'm trying to tell him, and he was like, I guess Ronnie didn't let him know. So I had to go back and stand where I was at, like, it probably took another 10 minutes, and then he came around to the door, and got me, and then it was. I was going there, basically like every other
basis?
week, because I kind of, I had to disguise it from my mom.
Okay.
Like I'm spending the night over here,
right?
Spending the night over there,
like many of us,
like everybody, right? So,
curfews and such were in place, but you had to become creative and savvy about how you navigate.
I couldn't even go straight home after the party, because even though my friends, they lived in the white building too, so I'm going up to their house.
Where'd you grow up?
The white building on 71st and State Street.
It's called the white building.
Lafayette, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew
up. The one you see from the expressway.
Exactly.
Right.
I grew up there, and I grew up around Tully Park.
Okay, yeah.
On 92nd
Auburn,
King Drive.
Gresham, kind of, yeah.
Wait, no, it's I forgot. They call it Challen, but it has its own
It's
little
further
neighborhood
southwest.
name. It's like I said
Chatham.
on 92nd and King Drive.
Yep.
So
I want to go back a little bit to the time at the warehouse. I'm sorry, at the music box.
No knowledge.
Ooh, I'm really
and you know how it goes. People
not
are
mathing today.
bragging like you ain't been here, you ain't been. Well, no, I have not been to the warehouse. I don't even think I should be there at 10 years old. But
I appreciate
enough,
and respect
but
that.
even like to this day, like I was in the music box at 13, but I know some people that was younger than me that was in there.
So back at the music box, talk to us about how your uncle felt and whether or not he even expressed a feeling about your being there.
He didn't.
Okay.
He never asked. I was just there, you know.
And he was doing his thing.
Yeah, you know, he was doing what he do. And actually, I had my tape deck. I had brought my tape deck in there one time. I was making tapes in there. I mean, but he was selling most of the tapes I was trying to make. But I had a couple. Had a guy in the party. He was holding his recorder up
to the speaker.
Yeah, we used to call them concerts.
That's an interesting.
That was really
it.
The best way to really, you know, it kind of almost if you make you feel like you were there. You know, I mean, you
wouldn't happen to have any of those tapes.
I don't see that's
today.
You know
right?
That's another thing that kind of makes me want to cry. You know, it's I mean, he was such a value to our community but he was just family to. I wouldn't say just he was family to me.
Of course.
So I mean,
you didn't how have the reverence for him necessarily that the rest of the
I'm giving tapes away like here and there, and the next thing you know, I didn't have any, but maybe like 3 or 4 that I had to hold on to, and that's kind of like taking advantage of your family or even just a living existence.
That's fair. I think my takeaway in just talking to you early on here is you're chill, you're humble guy. You certainly have an appreciation yourself for family. One of the audience members tuned in tonight want to know though, when did your uncle realize, or did he realize he was famous? Like he was creating a following.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really speak for him, but I'm pretty sure he knew. I mean, back in the day, they used to put pluggers, to promote the parties.
Yeah, on the light posts and the pluggers
on the posters and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he used to show up, with that music box security, like, I need to get paid.
Yeah.
Get paid and leave. I mean, that alone. I mean, that kind of lets you know you're somebody.
that would do it.
That just in that day and time, I mean, we talked about the 80s, wasn't no, like, I mean, I guess he could have put a loudspeaker on the top of his car, but no. And none, I mean, he wasn't doing that, but he definitely knew who he was.
And since then, he's certainly been credited with being one of the pioneering and legendary figures of Chicago's house music or dance music scene.
He was the
pioneer.
Yeah,
is your stance
of
Chicago's dance scene, of the club scene,
DJ.
of DJs.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to us about what you observed in his style of DJing, because it's surely unique. It's not been really replicated in a way. I think it stands that the way Ron Hardy banged the box, if you will, it's singular.
That's why you gotta have one of them inside party recordings.
Yeah, to hear
fast pace, songs. I mean, Ronnie definitely introduced us, to some one-hit wonders, that that the artist probably didn't even know, that their song was
being played,
right, and it was that, everybody's searching for this record, and because few copies probably pressed, but yeah, just the pace he played at, the edits, the crossover, wasn't no isolator back then.
No,
crossover.
Not to the extent that we have it today in this technology.
Right.
And in fact, I wanted to ask you about the technology of the reel-to-reel and the cassette deck and the way that he created artistry and set a craft around use of those.
I don't know. I guess if you play all night, just say like the way he extended records, because I would think like as a DJ, say if you play in 2 hours, if you playing a song for 5 minutes, so you only gonna play 24 songs, but you got a guy that's trying to play from 12 o'clock to 10 in the morning, he's gonna let some stuff play. So
like when you say let it play, it's gonna ride out.
It's gonna ride. I remember when Move Your Body came out. It was like a couple of years before everybody really knew what Move Your Body was.
The house anthem.
And right. He playing it, flip side. Like over and over. I mean, like 30 minutes. He let this song play for 30 minutes. Like, and I mean, that was like a song I vaguely remember, like just chilling, like on the other side, and where the juice bar was at, and that song would come on. I mean, it was a rush to the dance floor. And I mean, you got to go around through this little corridor.
Yeah.
Then make it a little sharp right. And yeah.
What do you think was, and I know I'm asking you to put yourself in his mind, but the hope is that you spent enough time to sort of gain some understanding of what his sort of motivations were. Like, why do you think he was able to run songs, just the same song, for like 30 minutes at a time?
Because it was new and it was hot, and I mean, you get teenagers and young adults. I mean, they had
energy,
right? Express their energy somehow. Like I said, this was the 80s we talking about. I mean, when girls was jumping rope and guys was playing heel deal and stuff like that.
Oh, not heel deal. I know you from the Chatham area.
Now you got a party going on. Come on, man.
So there were other nuances to the way Ronnie spun. There's a lot of talk about that frenetic pace in which he had people on the dance floor at high BPMs. What do you think was the inspiration there, or his thinking about that approach?
I don't know. Maybe that's how he wanted to play. Frankie plays slow.
Yeah. It was definitely the
right. So I mean,
mellower.
just like I'm not trying to be like you.
No one can be
so I'm pretty
DJ
sure,
Mega except
I'm
DJ
pretty
Mega.
sure, right? Frankie.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronnie wasn't trying to play slow like Frankie, you
No.
know.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't know. It could have
He-
something to do with like growing up. Like I said, he played records when he was young.
Right.
So
right.
when you just putting a needle to the record,
Yeah.
you know, he got to be thinking like, damn, this shit should be a little faster. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
he heard
you never know.
he
Right.
heard music differently would be a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, most artists do. They hear it in their own way. I mean, yeah. I mean, like some people, like the party people, they don't. I heard them say like you hear music a little differently than we actually hear it.
For sure.
You know, so
and then you can play it differently when you hear it differently.
Right.
Absolutely respect that. So what about the influence that you think the way he spun and the way he selected and presented dance music, what do you think that influence has on the way DJs play, select today? You're a DJ. What influence does it have on you?
I hate that. I use that term loosely. I just like to play records. But to answer your question, I mean, in the time of like just records and a few people, you know, that had reel-to-reels, you know, it's way different, you know, than it is now. And people, you know, that kind of makes you want to play a little, you know, well, differently, you know, fast, slow, this edit, that edit, you know. So
one of the things I miss right now are the way the DJs played on WBMX, the Hot Mix 5, right? They had certainly some of the tools they had were, you know, turntables, a mixer, maybe a little bit of editing capability. But things like double tracking and, you know, creating the phase and the flang, using just their fingers and the pitch control and the vinyl, you know, reading and studying the vinyl. What do you think Ronnie would have thought about that? Because it came a little after he had already established his style.
Well, he did his homework. You know, he definitely did his homework, and not to not answer your question, but just to give you a little Ronnie history. When Ronnie was younger, and my father and my mom was dating, they my father was kind of like a pool hall.
Yep.
Guy.
Yeah.
And he would leave Ronnie behind and
at home.
Ronnie would like bring his records over and play them for my mom.
Yeah.
You know, and at a young age. So if I definitely was born. So around 71, 72.
Yeah.
Ron was born in 58.
Okay.
And one other time, my grandmother told me that she was coming home from work one day. Mm-hmm. Right. And she you know, got off the bus walking to the building they lived in, and she's hearing this music, you know, like, who the hell is playing this music, right? And she get up to the apartment building, and Ronnie got the speakers turned around, pointed outside
the window.
Right.
I love it.
Well, of course, then he was just playing one record at a time.
Yes.
You know, so you know, Ronnie had his first residency at 17. So
where was that?
At
do you remember?
Den 1.
Den 1. Okay.
Was it Den 1?
Yeah.
On Wells Street.
The location of Den 1. Somebody chime in.
It was
on the
Wells
stream.
Street. It was called. It was after the Den 1. I believe it was called Carol Speakeasy.
It was. We've we contributed to a NPR report in which they talked about the early days of Den 1 and Carol's Speakeasy.
Wayne Williams can attest to that too. He speaks highly of
shout out to Wayne Williams
and those his younger days, pre-California.
Yeah, so it was
because not many people really heard Ronnie or probably around, to speak about that, but
Old Town, Scott Lee chimed in and verified that was the location.
Yeah.
What someone else asked, Tago asked, are there any pictures of like Ronnie playing
in the music box?
Well, there's certainly a lot of those pictures out and about, but at home when he was playing for your mom, or obviously we didn't have.
I don't know. I got
phones and we had Polaroids and Kodak.
I'm waiting patiently
to get access to some of those materials.
Yeah, okay. I'd rather not go into that. But
I can appreciate that. Though I think because of his legacy, there's a level of curiosity out there that
I know
people want to see some of that.
Ronnie is like a spy. When compared to now, because there's not really much of photos, video, he's just a guy, and I mean we all know him, but if you try to tell a world, just say who's not in the community, prove it.
But that's what we do here on the Vintage House Show is again have people like yourself on to share that narrative that only you can share, that perspective. And so we I certainly value and appreciate all that you've shared with us thus far. And I know I've asked some challenging questions because I'm trying to get at some of what was in the heart and mind of your uncle. I want to switch gears back to you. You talked about not necessarily using or being endeared to the term house. You also suggested that you're not necessarily a DJ. How would you frame what you do, and would you characterize it as carrying on some of your uncle's legacy?
Like I said, I just play records. That's how I think of it, just playing music.
Okay.
For
an audience at a club, for yourself,
like anywhere,
online.
Like when I was mobile at the time, people would, it's tough to pay the DJ for some reason.
You promoters out there, and there's they're talking to you right about now.
I'm not talking about them. I was just saying, like when I was mobile, and like my motto was, I'm not charging you to play my music. I'm charging you to bring my stuff outside.
Yeah, that's a lift. That's
right.
As the expression goes, it's a heavy lift sometimes.
Yeah, my son, he plays too, like in his genre and rap and whatever they want.
What's your son's name?
He goes by Will the Thrill, but he's Bill Hardy the third.
All right, shout out to Will the Thrill.
Yeah, but
hope you're tuned in to the Vintage House Show tonight.
Yeah, but I just like to play whenever given the opportunity.
All right, so you're not out there seeking.
No, I'm not seeking. Those days are over.
Yeah.
Years after Ronnie passed away, I was like, I'm next. And you know, it didn't really kind of work out that way. You know, like I said,
Why
my
do you
son
think that
because my
was?
son is 30.
Yeah.
You know, I had to go get a job,
Okay.
you know, and raise a child,
Yeah.
you know. So
Well, that's an important
because
responsibility.
I'm pretty sure the people that's out there listening, you know, they know that I don't be out that much.
Yeah.
You know, I've probably been out the past 2 years, like more than ever since
We're
the 90s
and
or
we're
the late 80s, I would say.
and we're glad that you come out
Yeah, I
more.
sneak out every now and
We're glad that you also, most importantly, felt compelled to come and tell a bit of the story, certainly about the legendary pioneer that your uncle Ronnie has been and continues to be. Uh, there's a lot of conversations happening, certainly uh, around the house music community in and outside of the community. You know, there was this so-called reemergence of house music as enabled presumably by some pop artists, when in fact the community at large knew that there was always a thriving um, community and scene and
bandwagon
and genre. Well, you know, call it what you
Let
want.
me get in on it too. I mean, house is really. Oops, so you made me say it. It's really. I mean, it's international.
I got you to say it.
It's international. Okay, yeah. So it's a genre more
Yes.
than, you know, just a term of the way people are. You know. I mean, people go by house heads. You know, but
that's an affectionate term for those
to
who
describe it to somebody that don't know about it.
But you touched also upon the notion that it is sort of a feeling. There's a culture behind. It's not just the genre,
right,
of music,
right. Fashion promoters and
it's a whole ecosystem.
Know, the party, right? Just itself, you know.
It's a business and industry, which is something I talk a lot about. What's your knowledge about the business of this
no
genre?
Knowledge of the business, but I don't know if you know. I would guess I would say my contribution to the business would be I had a small record label for a while. Party Hardy Records, and I had a few I put out like 4 12-inch EPs, some Ronnie edits, and I did 2 for Jamie 326.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in the early 2000s.
And the label is now sunsetted, or is just kind of on hiatus?
Hiatus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to drop any exclusive bits of news here on the Vintage House Show about?
No, I don't have really anything coming lately. Okay. Like I said, I just started coming back out a few years ago, so
that's all right.
I'm working on. I'm trying to retire.
Well, we're just welcoming you back.
That's what I'm trying to do.
How can you retire on this?
When, not retire from that, from working.
Okay, so then you'll have more free time. You mind sharing what you do? Nope. You're not gonna share what you do. Okay. I'm admiring the shirt that you have on here. Is that a Michael Cox?
It sure is.
Shout out to my boy Michael Cox, artist. Wearable art extraordinaire.
This is actually a picture from the Ron Hardy tribute. I'm gonna say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was at Promontory.
At the Promontory,
The Chosen Few, Terry, Wayne, Mike Dunn.
Yes.
Yeah, we all played. It was awesome.
That was a memorable night.
It definitely was.
I love it. Tell us about some highlights from that night.
Oh man, I mean that party was awesome. I mean, to really get a chance to, you know, just to play some records again. I mean, it was nice. Just and to hear it loud.
What was it
Like
like to play with some of those guys who
Oh, it was
may have
great.
been influenced
It was great.
by
I love
Ronnie?
the Chosen Few.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in 2020 during COVID, we did a tribute for Ronnie then.
On
We raised
online
money.
streaming, or
Yeah,
was
we
it in
raised
person?
money for a
The
a
headstone.
tombstone, yeah,
Yep.
and the arts and to help
I
feed some
remember
people
that.
that wasn't capable
Of taking
of right
care of themselves, their
right.
welfare and well-being. There's another movement in that vein and spirit. I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out the House Music 40 Committee, which certainly is in play to celebrate that milestone, which I mentioned, of 1984, where we had some house music actually put to vinyl. But in addition to celebrating that milestone, they're raising funds to support those in the industry, those figures who are, getting up in age, getting afflicted with various health challenges and other challenges. And so it's a special initiative. And I just want to shout out the House Music 40 Committee for the work that they're doing. I will plug that there's a concert and performance of Tin City for everyone listening. Vince Lawrence is spearheading that.
About that. I talked to him last week, I think.
And so Byron Stingley and Marshall Jefferson and the Good Girls are going to be there at the Smart Bar, and they're going to Byron's going to perform with a 17-piece live band. It's going to be a great night, and of course
Metro
at Smart Bar Metro.
Upstairs,
And
they gotta have a place to put them bodies.
Yes.
Yes. Metro upstairs.
And so it's going to be a great night. If you go online, you can get tickets to check out that show. The date is escaping me, but before this show is over, I will recall the date coming up. But yeah, there's a lot of initiatives also going on this Labor Day weekend. Once again, is the ARC Music Fest. You going out to ARC in Union Park?
No, I won't be able to make that.
It's a interesting, multi-stage festival, multi-day fest.
I'm aware of it, but I won't be able to make it.
And so that's one way that there's also going to be some acknowledgement and celebration of house music 40 there. There's always a lot going on, and I know some other DJs that are here at WNUR Studios, the Arise Radio team, Josana and Black Terry, do an awesome job of covering
boys.
The events, as well as blazing the decks, blessing the decks with some great.
I remember Terry. I met Terry at the Music Box.
Yeah.
Yeah. He.
All right. Well, that's the story.
I wouldn't say met, just
you guys cross paths.
Right, yeah, cross paths.
Well, been trying to get them
know him from.
on.
I remember a few people.
Yeah. So your memories will continue to come back. I mean, this is your time to share some of those memories. You don't have to name drop all night,
right?
But the stories are again important to share, because we don't want other people telling the story for us, because they're not going to tell it with accuracy or precision.
Yeah, that's why I try not to drop everything. I don't know, for some strange reason, everybody, I wouldn't say everybody, that's just some people, think, they have the right, to, speak on my uncle's behalf and try to, just, I guess I would call it like going behind my back actually, and just do things like, people respect Frankie's legacy.
Yeah, they
Respect my uncle's legacy.
and
They want to print shirts
and there
you
is
know,
definitely
throw parties on his behalf
an
like,
effort. So
right.
how does that make you feel?
It kind of makes me makes me want to get his. No, I won't say that. But yeah, I'm upset about it. Because I mean, for me, it's well, I would say for everybody, Ronnie is a legend. He's he's a
No
legend.
question.
To me too. I mean, like all around the world. But at the end of the day, he's my family. So and that's how I look at it first.
We treasure our family,
right?
and
Like respect it, and respect me about it.
I hear you. I hope that what you take away from this opportunity tonight is a step towards that respect, and
I hope so. I mean, but people don't change. Some do, some don't.
So if Ron Hardy, your uncle Ronnie, were here today, what do you think he would say about the state of house music, about the community, about how the genre has evolved?
It's kind of hard, for me to, speak.
But yeah, just speculate a
but
little bit.
Okay, I would say like, so if Ronnie was still here, right?
Yes.
I truly believe in my heart that, and I would be up there. I would be a little bit higher on the DJ's spectrum.
On the Richter scale.
Oh yeah, right. Because
he would have brought you along.
He was born in '58, so he would be what, 66 now? Is that
Let's
about
do
right?
that. Don't ask me to do the math tonight because I've already demonstrated my math is not mathing. But
because my mom not 76 yet, so yeah. So I think that's right. So yeah, I mean, I always say like, when are we gonna get old? So I would hope that Ronnie would still been playing like some of these other older gentlemen.
I don't think there's
playing.
any question.
That would be beautiful. And I'm pretty sure he would also accept the new music that's out here. Because Ronnie, put on a lot of new music.
Oh yeah, he was breaking
talent.
music.
Steve.
Yeah.
KLXC.
Yeah.
Chip E.
Yeah.
He put all them on. Right. Future.
Tell it.
Who else? Fingers Inc. Everybody.
I love and appreciate that there is clearly a lineage of influence that he's had, and I would even go as far as saying continuing to have, with the rare instances of mixes and certainly the releases that he put out. We played at the top of the show Sensation,
right? But I would still say though that, I mean, he would embrace the new music, but I think he would still play the old music as well.
He would be able to bring in.
We listen to stuff that was before, what we call disco.
Euro disco, Italo disco,
right?
Disco.
The stuff
American
our parents
disco.
grew on and stuff. I mean, it's catchy, and then you remember it and love it. Love it.
I still listen
just from
to
that,
it all.
right?
Absolutely.
So I mean,
I play
it's
it too.
a whole bunch of stuff that that we could call dusties these days, but the dusties are the dusties. Disco is disco. Hip hop is hip hop. So
you're comfortable putting names to those genres, but I got coming back to you, Mr. Bill, on your reluctance to put house on the genre of house.
No, it is a genre.
Okay.
You know, I just don't consider myself a house head. I'm more disco.
Never went there. I rarely
disco.
use that term. I mean, there are people that appreciate.
Well, people like I said, it's a genre.
Yes.
People be like, oh, this house, you know.
I'm wearing
like this house, right?
I'm wearing my red beanie in tribute to Ronnie Baby.
Right. You know, there's a whole lot.
Can I get a little love
there? Kind of like.
There you go. Get me straight. Get me straight.
Right.
The lining is showing.
Yeah, okay. I ain't mean to do that to you.
No, it's good.
But that's how you wore it, though.
We have a rapport.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's funny because one of the questions you had sent me, you know, there a few of them I kind of had answers for, and it was like one of my early memories was my earliest memory. Was he had came back from California just to visit.
Yes.
And I knew he was coming, and I tried to wait up all night because even I didn't know what a DJ was, but it was just cool as hell. Like man, your uncle, he's a DJ. You know, I didn't know what the hell it was. You know, it just sounded dope. And when he got there, I guess it was like I had fell asleep, and he was asleep on the couch, and I ran out, and I guess he was asleep, and I just jumped in the air and landed on him. And you know, that definitely woke me up, but woke him up. I'm sorry, but
I follow.
And he gave me one of them hats. It was like Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes hat.
Right.
Yeah.
It had, you know, it had tied
up flaps on both sides.
Right. Yep. That was crazy.
You still have that hat?
I don't.
Okay.
This guy threw it up in the tree when I was when I was younger. Because I don't know. I guess he didn't really like the style of the hat because he just looked at it and he just tossed it up into the tree. I had to be like maybe 6 years old.
Oh man,
something like that. Yeah.
Well,
kind of bullied me there, huh?
I want to make sure that as you do get a hold of some of those artifacts and maybe photographic memories that you consider sharing it because it is part of the narrative.
I'll give you one more too.
Yeah.
When Ronnie moved his mother to Springfield,
yes.
We had lived on 84th and Crandon.
Yeah, southeast side.
And the Ronnie didn't live there. Like I said, after he moved his mother to Springfield, he was staying there.
Okay.
And I was at my grandmother's house on 89th and Ingleside, and I had a little change in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even tell my mom. I just got on the bus because I knew he was there, and I caught the bus over there, 87th as far as it could, because I didn't know nothing about transferring. So I just got off at CVS because I kind of remember the little way he used to go.
Yeah.
And I knocked on the door, and big guy came to the door, and I was like, "Is Ronnie here?" And he was like, "No, Ronnie, no." He was like, "No." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "Just tell him his nephew came by." And I was leaving, and by the time I got to the gate, Ronnie had opened the door, and he was like, "What the hell?" I was just like, "Man, I knew you was here." I mean, I just back to that, just knowing he was a DJ. I always loved Ronnie, and he was also, you know, he's what I had left after my father had passed away.
Yes.
You know, we have a very small family.
Okay.
You know, down to where my grandson is the legacy right now, and he's 7.
Wow, that's all right.
And but back to that, I had went in and we were just talking and whatnot. He had like records everywhere. He gave me a few. Well, he pulled out a few and I forgot them, but he took me back to my grandmother's house and they was in
did
some
Ronnie
type
drive
of,
or
I don't know if Ronnie drove. I can't remember if he drove, but it was like I believe the car was like a white Chevy, like
Okay.
maybe Impala or something like that. So
Yeah.
back it wasn't like the '90s, the big box. They were a little longer, and it was
Able to carry those crates of records.
convertible.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he took me back to my grandmother's house. Of course, my mom was upset about that.
That you had slipped out. So
Yeah.
I on that note, and I appreciate you sharing that that moment, and appreciate that you've come to our studio to share your perspective, and we respect it as just that, as your perspective. What would you tell your uncle if he were here about what you alluded to, your opportunity to really have maybe invested yourself fully in the life of being a DJ, or being a DJ alongside your uncle?
He knew.
He knew.
Yeah. One time, well, when I lived in the white building, Ronnie had came by, and he came by to give me some money actually. And when he came into the room, actually my guy Dwight, I think we had did some little party in the white building, and
Oh, you guys are throwing parties.
We went to
the building off
went
71st and Dan Ryan.
Right, we had went to the music box that night, and he had came by later. Well, but after we did the party, the Dwight asked me to keep the equipment.
Okay.
And because we was going to the party.
Yeah.
And then Ronnie, he was coming by later to just give me some money, and I knew he was coming, and I hooked my guy shit up like real quick. It was like, he was like, damn. Actually, it was him and Robert. I don't even know Robert remember that. He was like, damn. He was
Shout out to Robert Williams.
You play, and then another time, I was gonna play at the Powerhouse. It was still a Powerhouse then. That's when the DJ booth was upstairs, and I had brought some records with me, and I don't know, it had something to do with the owner at the time.
Okay.
His I want to say maybe his, I'm not sure the relation.
Yeah, what the relationship was really.
But whoever owned it, he was related to oh shit, what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Marshall. Oh, I can't even think of his name. He's gonna be so mad if he's watching. My memory fails me.
You can drop it in the comments when
I will
rewatch this interview. So
I have remembered his name all the time, because I'm gonna say this part too. But Ronnie was like, he got to play because the owner was saying, said he had to play, in order to rent the space.
Yeah.
And so he was playing. I'm so sorry, bro. I can't drop your name, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about. They probably dropped it if they went to the Powerhouse there.
So Tonka Toy says, "Hey, cuz, what's up?"
Cuz? Yeah.
And Tego chimed in.
I really hate talking in the mic too. Always sounds so funny on the other side.
Scott Lee dropped us the date of that 10 City concert at Smartboard. Maurice
Jefferson, yeah.
Maurice Jefferson.
Yeah, it was him. He played at the Powerhouse for Ronnie.
Okay.
Yeah, because of that ownership thing.
Okay. Powerhouse.
Yeah. We went there too, and then they kind of switched it over to the music box at one time, but I had went to all of them. I went to the music box too on Lake Street, and I kind of think that place is like an underground car garage. I remember taking a very huge elevator down to the basement.
On Lower Wacker or Lake Street? The one
on Lake and Jefferson, actually.
Yeah.
I want to say it was.
So, listen, it's getting late for us, and our memories are fading fast, but we've got some incredible nuggets and stories about your uncle, about your perspective, about the legacy that has been left behind. Legendary. And I would anticipate that the community that is house music, the global community and family, are certainly looking forward to learning more, to hearing more from the Hardy lineage. And on behalf of the Vintage House Show, my co-host Lori Branch, our executive producer Lauren Lowry, I want to thank you for joining me, your MainMan Mega, here.
Thanks for having me
on the Vintage House Show. It's been a great conversation, and one in which I appreciated and learned a lot from. So I want to invite you back anytime that you have more stories that you want to share.
Can I just say one thing though?
You
kind of just want to be frank though.
Talk to
really
me.
Like
talk to us.
I mean, Ronnie, he changed what was happening in the party, in the way music was being played. I mean,
no doubt. In what way though would you?
In every way, and to everybody wanted to hear Ronnie. You know,
we still do,
right? And like I said, and I mean, he knew that, you know. So I mean, that definitely would, and so to speak, what Phyllis said, you got the crowd just calling your name and screaming your name and stuff like that. But I really truly believe, you know, that I mean, we would have made it here, you know, but that was like the foundation of DJing
was laid by your Uncle Ronnie,
right? Who true in fact is the godfather of house music. Don't let nobody else tell you different.
Bill Hardy, Vintage House Show, your MainMan Mega. Thank you all for tuning in. We're here every Wednesday night, usually at 10 p.m. We got started a little late tonight, 10 p.m. Central. Chicago, home of house, still at Navy Pier. Get down there, check it out through October 31st. Every weekend, there are incredible events going on with an array of great DJs, really driving the heartbeat of this genre of house music. And we're here, you know, helping to tell the stories, get those narratives out. If you want to join us on the show, don't hesitate to visit Linktree / The Vintage House Show and submit your guest appearance request form, and we will get you scheduled. We've got an incredible fall slate lined up, and so we appreciate all of our guests, especially Bill Hardy, who's on tonight, but everyone who's been on. Next year, folks, we've got something really special coming up. Again, on behalf of the Vintage House family, Vintage House Show Spotlight, DJ Mo Mami, DJ Rocky Floyd, and of course, co-host Lori Branch and executive producer Lauren Lowry. We are the Vintage House Show, your MainMan Mega. I'm out.
Hold on.
And I'm going.
And all right, Ronnie.
Oh, all right. Ronnie Howard. Thank you, Bill.
All right. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, sir. Everyone stay safe. Remember, house is a feeling.